Most businesses begin with effort. The founder answers every phone call, solves every problem, approves every decision, serves every customer. At first, this feels like progress. The business grows because the founder grows. But eventually, growth begins creating its own problems. More customers require more employees. More employees require more coordination. More coordination requires more decisions. Soon, the business no longer serves its customers. It spends most of its energy serving itself. Meetings replace momentum. Complexity replaces clarity. Expansion becomes exhaustion. This is the invisible ceiling that limits millions of businesses around the world. Not because demand disappears, but because the business was built around people instead of systems.
Every enduring organization possesses something that customers rarely see: an operating system. Not the software running on computers, but the invisible architecture running the business itself. Every order follows a process. Every payment follows a workflow. Every decision follows a framework. Every employee follows a system. When these elements operate independently, complexity increases. When they operate together, the organization begins behaving as one intelligent machine. This is why extraordinary businesses often appear surprisingly simple from the outside. Ordering is effortless, delivery is predictable, support feels consistent. Behind that simplicity, thousands of invisible systems are coordinating every movement. Customers experience convenience, architects see infrastructure, and infrastructure is where sustainable advantage is quietly built.
Every successful business eventually reaches a critical decision: continue depending on people or begin depending on processes. People bring creativity, processes bring consistency. People solve unexpected problems, processes prevent the same problems from happening again. This is why mature organizations document everything, not because they enjoy paperwork, but because every documented process becomes repeatable. Every repeatable process becomes scalable. Every scalable process becomes an asset. An organization that depends entirely on memory must constantly start over. An organization built on processes continues improving with every cycle. The objective is not to eliminate human contribution. It is to ensure that human creativity is focused where it creates the greatest value. Everything else should become part of the system.
Automation is often misunderstood. Many believe automation exists to replace people. The real purpose is very different. Automation preserves discipline. Humans become tired. Systems do not. Humans become distracted. Systems remain consistent. Humans occasionally forget. Systems execute exactly as designed. This consistency becomes a competitive advantage. Customers receive reliable experiences. Operations become predictable. Costs become easier to control. Growth becomes less chaotic. Every automated workflow quietly removes friction from the organization. One improvement may seem insignificant. Hundreds of improvements transform an entire business. Automation is not about moving faster. It is about making excellence repeatable.
The most powerful systems do more than operate. They learn. Every customer interaction becomes data. Every transaction becomes feedback. Every success becomes a model. Every failure becomes information. Artificial intelligence accelerates this cycle. Patterns once hidden inside millions of decisions become visible. Risks are identified earlier. Demand becomes easier to predict. Resources are allocated more efficiently. The organization begins adapting continuously instead of waiting for periodic change. This creates an entirely different kind of business, one that improves while it operates, one that becomes stronger every day. The future belongs not only to automated organizations, it belongs to organizations capable of learning faster than the environments around them. Because in the digital economy, the fastest learner eventually becomes the strongest competitor.
Every successful business eventually faces another decision: continue selling products or begin building ecosystems. Products create customers. Platforms create participants. Participants create interactions. Interactions create data. Data improves intelligence. Intelligence improves the entire system. This creates a cycle that becomes increasingly difficult to compete against. The organization is no longer creating value alone. Customers create value, developers create value, partners create value. Artificial intelligence continuously improves value. The architecture begins growing faster than the company itself. This is why the world's largest technology companies rarely think of themselves as product companies. They design environments where millions of people create value together. The platform becomes the infrastructure, and infrastructure quietly becomes the business.
Customers rarely experience complexity. They experience outcomes. A payment completes in seconds. A package arrives the next day. A recommendation feels surprisingly accurate. Behind these simple moments, thousands of invisible decisions occur every second. Artificial intelligence evaluates patterns. Cloud infrastructure distributes workloads. Security systems monitor risk. Inventory systems predict demand. Logistics engines optimize routes. Financial systems coordinate capital. Every layer communicates continuously with the others. No single component creates the experience. The experience emerges from coordination. This is why architecture matters, because excellence is rarely the result of one brilliant idea. It is the result of thousands of ordinary systems working together with extraordinary precision.
The next generation of organizations will not simply become larger. They will become smarter. Every customer interaction will improve future decisions. Every operational cycle will strengthen future performance. Every market signal will refine future strategy. Artificial intelligence allows organizations to learn continuously. Automation allows organizations to execute continuously. Digital infrastructure allows organizations to scale continuously. Together, they create something entirely new, a business capable of improving while it operates. Growth is no longer driven only by expansion. It is driven by intelligence. The organization becomes a living architecture, observing, learning, adapting, optimizing, every hour, every day, every transaction. This is the beginning of the autonomous enterprise, not a company that replaces people, but a company where human creativity and intelligent systems continuously amplify one another.
Companies are often judged by what they sell, but history remembers them for what they built. The visible business is only the surface. The invisible operating system is the foundation. Products change, markets evolve, leadership transitions, technology advances. Yet organizations built upon strong architectures
continue adapting through every generation, because they were never dependent on a single product. They were designed to continuously produce new ones. This is the difference between reacting to change and engineering change. The world's most resilient organizations are not collections of departments. They are collections of interconnected systems. Every process strengthens another. Every decision improves another. Every layer supports another. The organization begins functioning less like a company and more like a living organism. Its greatest asset is no longer what it owns. Its greatest asset is how intelligently everything works together.
Most entrepreneurs build businesses. Architects build systems. Businesses generate revenue. Systems generate continuity. Revenue depends on today's activity. Systems continue creating tomorrow's opportunities. This is why the most valuable organizations think differently. They rarely ask, how can we become bigger? Instead, they ask, how can the system become smarter? Every documented process becomes reusable. Every automated workflow becomes scalable. Every feedback loop becomes intelligence. Every intelligent improvement strengthens the entire architecture. Eventually, the organization no longer grows because people work harder. It grows because the system continuously becomes better. That is the ultimate advantage. Not speed, not size, not even technology, but architecture. Because architecture transforms effort into systems, systems into leverage, leverage into enduring wealth, and enduring wealth becomes the foundation upon which future civilizations are built.
Every organization begins with an idea. Every enduring organization evolves into a system. The future will not be defined by those who simply create products. It will be defined by those who create architectures capable of learning, adapting, and scaling across generations. When you begin seeing systems instead of isolated events, patterns begin to emerge. When you understand those patterns, new opportunities become visible. And when you learn to design those opportunities into architecture, you stop building businesses that depend on you. You begin building systems that continue creating value long after the work is done. That is the perspective of Asutsen. Not simply to explain business, but to reveal the invisible architectures that shape wealth, technology, and the future. Welcome to Asutsen. Architecting wealth, automating future.